John and Amy are here, husband and wife, and they've been fighting for John's legs. I'm curious if you want to weigh in on Charles' question about how fears and mistrust that you may have grown up with in your household based on what you've heard from your elders have influenced your mindset when it comes to healthcare, and then ultimately then your experience yourself with the next generation. John?
Well, Kim, how you doing? I just want to share with the other guys that when I was growing up, going to the doctor to me or going to the hospital was like death, like you was gonna die. If you went to the hospital, because every time that any family member of mine went to the hospital, chances of them coming out of the hospital was slim. They didn't come out. It was, and growing up. That's how I experienced, you know, going to the doctor. That's why most black people don't want to go to the doctor because they know when they go there, you know, they may not come out. That was my experience. My dad, he was diagnosed with lung cancer at 45. Okay, he didn't go get chemo. He didn't do none of it. When they said this is what you had, he continued to work. He didn't go get no kind of treatment, and he lasted until he was like 62 is when he died from that. But he didn't get no chemo. He didn't get anything. But during that time, he knew all along that he had cancer, but he still didn't go to the doctor. And he wasn't surprised when we found out that this is what he had, and and he was ready to go get treatment for it. He didn't seem upset at all because he knew what he had, and and that was that. So just that everybody on the panel who's had this experience of going to the doctor, I can had the same experience, the same thing with my limbs being, my toes being cut off the same way. It was just fear. It was fear and not being told the truth. Fear and not. When they see me, they just say, "Okay, he black. He's been working this long. He smokes and he does this. He does that." And that's how they treated me. Everything went accordingly. Okay, you got one toe going to have to be cut off, and now here's your leg. It just went like that until we met Kim. To God brought us to her. That's the reason why I'm standing right now. That's the reason why my legs. Why I'm keeping my leg because otherwise I probably wouldn't have. I don't. It's just right now. It's just scary to think of not only me but other people going through the same thing, and they're not knowledgeable. All this knowledge I got today about all this was about black people. I didn't know. All I knew is when I was growing up, not if you was black or not to go there, not to go to the hospital. So that's the way I associated the hospital with being going there, being black, you know. And here, like I said, in 2022 is when I started going to the hospital, and when they started treating me this that same way. I told the doctor, I said, listen, I quit smoking, I quit this. He didn't believe none of that. Okay, then he just took it as he just didn't. They didn't trick. They told me the same thing. After they figured out that they couldn't open up one of my limbs, they said, okay, you're not a candidate for nothing else. You can't, and they just left it at that. They just left me just out there, no referrals to somebody else that they knew. And it was a person in the surrounding town that could have did it, but they never, nothing,